Have you ever sat in a room full of people, yet felt entirely alone because the one person you're waiting to hear from hasn't reached out? You're staring at a screen that refuses to light up. You're checking their last scene, calculating the minutes, wondering what they're doing that is more important than acknowledging your existence. We've all been there. We've all turned into detectives of our own heartbreak, looking for clues in a desert of indifference. We call it the spark. We call it chemistry. But if we're being honest with ourselves, sometimes what we call chemistry is actually just the adrenaline of being ignored. We have been conditioned to believe that if love isn't a mountain we have to climb, it isn't high enough. If it isn't a fire that burns our hands, it isn't hot enough. But I want to tell you something today that might break your heart a little, only so it can heal correctly. Love is not a marathon you have to run just to prove you deserve the finish line. We live in a culture that romanticizes the chase. We watch movies where the protagonist spends 2 hours being treated like an afterthought, only for the other person to realize their worth in the final 3 minutes. So, we wait for our final 3 minutes. We spend weeks, months, dissecting the anatomy of a text message. We analyze the tone of a hello, the duration of a silence, and the hidden meaning behind a like on social media. We turn into psychologists for people who haven't even asked for our help. They're just busy, you tell yourself. They've been hurt before, you tell your friends. You build a cathedral out of their excuses. But while you're busy building that cathedral, you're the only one kneeling at the altar. There is a silent, heavy exhaustion that comes with loving someone who only loves you in the maybe. It's a low-grade fever that never breaks. It's the constant feeling of being on call, waiting for a permission slip to feel happy. When you're fighting for someone who isn't fighting for you, you eventually start to wonder what's wrong with you. You think, maybe if I were more successful, maybe if I were funnier, maybe if I didn't need so much reassurance. You start to edit yourself. You delete the text you actually wanted to send, the one that says, I miss you, or that hurt my feelings, and you replace it with something chill, something that doesn't demand anything. But here is the truth. You cannot perform your way into being loved. You cannot be enough for someone who isn't ready to see what's right in front of them. When you fight for a seat at a table that wasn't set for you, you end up starving. Imagine a rope. You're on one end and they're on the other. In your mind, you're playing a game of tug-of-war. You think that if you just pull hard enough, you'll bring them closer to you. You think the tension in the rope is passion. But look closely at the other end. Are they even pulling? Or are they just standing there, letting you do all the work while the rope burns your palms. Sometimes we think we're fighting for a relationship when we're actually just fighting against the reality that it's over, or that it never truly began. The hardest thing you will ever do is open your hands and let that rope hit the ground. It will feel like losing. It will feel like they won. But the moment that rope hits the dirt, the tension leaves your shoulders. For the first time in years, you can breathe. I want you to imagine a different world. One day, you are going to wake up and you won't check your phone with a sense of dread. You won't have that pit in your stomach feeling where you're bracing yourself for a disappointment. You will be someone's favorite thing, and you will not be confused. You won't have to wonder if they're thinking about you because they'll tell you. You won't have to wonder if they're proud of you because they'll show you. You won't have to wonder if you're too much because to them, you are exactly the right amount. This person won't see your sensitivity as a weakness to be managed. They will see it as a landscape to be explored. They won't see your past as baggage. They will see it as the map that led you to them. When you find this, the first thing that will shock you is how easy it is. We are so used to the drama, the highs and lows, the will they, won't they, that when something healthy comes along, we almost think it's boring. But it's not boring, it's peace. You'll realize that all those years you spent fighting for people were actually years you spent running away from yourself. You were trying to prove your worth to them because you hadn't fully proven it to yourself. In this new love, you won't have to rehearse your sentences. You won't have to apologize for a double text. You won't have to worry that one wrong move will make them disappear, because they aren't looking for an excuse to leave. They are looking for every reason to stay. If you are listening to this right now, and you're thinking of a specific name, a specific person who makes you feel like you're fighting every single day, I have a question for you. How much longer are you willing to be a second choice? How many more sunsets are you going to waste waiting for a maybe? You are a masterpiece, not a rough draft. You are a destination, not a layover. The reason you haven't found the one who fights for you is because your hands are still full of the person who is letting you go. You have to empty your hands. You have to endure the loneliness of the empty space before the right person can fill it. Stop trying to be enough for people who aren't even enough for themselves. One day, someone is going to walk into your life and everything will click. They will love the way you drink your coffee, the way you laugh at things that aren't funny, and the way you care too much about the world. They will call these things their favorite things. But until that day comes, I need you to do something important. I need you to be your own favorite thing. I need you to fight for your own peace. I need you to choose your own joy. I need you to look in the mirror and say, I am no longer available for anyone who doesn't see the light in me. Because when you finally stop fighting for the wrong people, you finally have the energy to welcome the right one. And I promise you, when they arrive, you won't be confused. You'll just be home.